Hey, Wemblog World Entertainment, and we have some news regarding Rings of Power Season 3. Yeah, it's been quite a long time since we've heard anything about this, and what we're going to hear with this is insane. Because one of the things is about an orc, a special orc, because it's going to be apparently besties with Galadriel. Yeah, you heard that correctly. An orc will be best friends with Galadriel. But here is what the full breakdown apparently that's going to, what they say, reshape Rings of Power Season 3 is, because it involves Sauron, dwarves and orcs. And it says, recent developments for the Rings of Power Season 3 indicate a significant shift in the state of Middle-earth. Fellowship of the Fans can exclusively reveal that Sauron is expected to appear in a dwarven kingdom for an episode, including a direct physical confrontation with Durin. Simultaneously, Durin's brother is set to return to Khazad-dûm to challenge for the throne. Alongside this, an orc character will play a central role in the season's overarching narrative, travelling with both Galadriel and Arondir across Middle-earth. In the aftermath of Season 2, these storylines emerge at a time of growing tension. Durin now holds the Dwarven Rings, while dissatisfaction among other Dwarven lords has already begun to surface. Together, these threads could reveal a Middle-earth that is becoming increasingly unstable, where internal divisions may prove just as significant as the external threat posed by Sauron. So we're putting Sauron in dwarven areas again, which, okay, I don't think he would have been at any dwarven kingdoms at this stage again, but hey, they've already done it. But it's the whole thing with the orcs that is what we're really gonna look at here, because it's ridiculous. It really is. Now, I've seen this being said, and there's people already saying, how would Galadriel be best friends with an orc when her sister was, in the words of Tolkien, literally speared to a tree by the orcs. Unfortunately, that's not Galadriel. That's another character whose family is very similar to Galadriel. Galadriel didn't have a sister. She had an older brother. I didn't have a sister. So people get that confused. It wasn't Galadriel's sister, it was this other family's sister. But she hates the orcs. We've seen her hate the orcs. We've seen her fight orcs and all this stuff, and yet they're gonna have her best friends with an orc, apparently. But here is what it's saying about the changing things with the orcs, and it just sounds stupid. So the introduction of an orc character traveling alongside Galadriel and Arondir makes a further evolution in the show's portrayal of the Uruk. While earlier seasons have already begun to explore orc individuality, particularly through Adar, this storyline places that perspective in direct proximity to two protagonists from opposing sides of the conflict. The best part with the whole orc being individuals and all of this crap, if you remember, you probably don't. I only did when I was reading this, and I was like, oh yeah. Do you remember the orc all of a sudden didn't want to go to war because he just wanted to stay behind with his wife and baby? Remember that? The war-hungry bred basically to fight orcs are just like, we just want to stay here and have our family time. It's like, good God. So this shift comes as a pivotal moment following the events of Season 2, with the death of Adar, and I'll be honest with you, forgot he even died. Can't even remember how he died. Who had previously acted as a defining and parental figure to the orcs. This may signal a change in how they are treated and understood. While Sauron now stands as the overarching authority, the loss of Adar removes a more intimate and personal form of leadership, potentially creating a gap between command and those carrying it out on the ground. This reflects moments in The Lord of the Rings where orcs like Shagrat and Gorbag express dissatisfaction with their leaders and even speak of breaking away from their command. This development opens multiple narrative possibilities. It places an individual orc within the orbit of two central characters, creating space for a more complex portrayal beyond that of an unified enemy. For Galadriel in particular, those encounters with Adar have already complicated her understanding of orcs. This dynamic may influence how she responds. It raises the possibility of a more nuanced perspective, while also highlighting the contrast between Sauron's hierarchical model of control and the more collective identity that Adar had fostered. Collectively, this storyline suggests that Sauron's control over the orcs may not be fully established. The evolving nature of orc identity could shape how these forces function, particularly as tensions escalate in Season 3. You hear all of that, and all you can think of is, well, how do they end up being these basically brainless automatons by the time we get to Fellowship of the Rings? Like to say, oh, this is going to really shape and evolve their identity and their individuality and all this BS. And they're going to be friends with Galadriel and all this type of crap. And yet then we're going to get to Fellowship of the Rings and see what they really are, which are basically cannibalistic animals that just go out to destroy. That's what they were created for. That's their purpose in life, basically. And it's like, and you're trying to make these almost sympathetic. Like the idea, again, it was, you could not get over it in Season 2 when the one guy turned around to Adar and was like, but father, this place is great and safe. Can't we just stay here? And then when Adar was like, no, we must go to war, and walked off. And this dude turns around and looks at his wife and child. Yeah, baby orcs and female orcs, and they just want to be happy family orcs. And it was like, what are we looking at? But it's pairing them up with Galadriel that's just kind of crazy and stupid. It's like, why are you trying to do this? What is the purpose of trying to make these things everything they aren't? It makes zero sense. But yeah, so it looks like Season 3 we're gonna have Sauron once again in a dwarven kingdom. Durin's brother showing up to claim right to the throne, and Galadriel riding around Middle Earth with an orc as her bestie. Can't wait. But let me know what you guys think of all this. But there's still no signs of a trailer for this thing, an announcement for a release date of this thing or anything. So let me know what you think about it all anyway. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like and share and subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.